What is up, everybody? It is my distinct pleasure to get back into the studio to talk about how my experience has been going on the brand new Apple M1 Mac Mini. And again, I'm not advocating that you go out and buy one of these machines. I'm just saying that for me personally, it was the right choice because my old machine was just too limiting in its ability to keep up with the projects that I was wanting to work on. So today, what we're looking at is how well this machine can handle the FabFilter ProQ 3. And what I'm going to do is just open up an instance of ProQ 3 on all of these channels. Bang. And just like that, right? Not only did it load just instantaneously, but as you can see, there is absolutely no issue. I'm not going to tell you what the rhythm is. You guys guess that for yourselves. But as you can see, it's working like a dream. If I want to create an EQ curve here, widen the Q, and really suck out the bottom end of the entire kit, you can see how that happens to great effect. And then there it all comes back in. So, you know, so far so good. Here we are on the kick. There we go. There's a little bit of energy there in the kick. I don't know about all that. Absolutely too much, but you get the idea. And then say I want to grab something here around 250, 175 to 300 range. You know what I mean? Tends to be kind of muddy on a rock kick drum. It's hard to tell right now. But especially in context with a mix, there's a lot of bass guitar. There's a lot of other stuff sitting in there that you don't want to take away from. So that's typically a move. But anyway, there's an EQ curve there. And we can obviously see all of our features here in terms of being able to see if there's any frequencies masking one another. This isn't something I would typically worry about from the drums in the context with just itself. But once I get other elements in the mix in here, like a bass guitar or things like that, I would normally want to, you know, start looking at frequencies in certain areas of the song that I would want to, you know, take care of from a masking standpoint. Not something I'm too worried about right now. That's a little treatment on the kick drum. Now if we take a look at the snare, I grab like 100 to, you know, 90 to 110, 120, anywhere in there. Just see what this sounds like. Let's grab these channels, make a snare group real quick and dirty, and we can solo it. tends to just give it a little bit of weight, you know, just in that area, in that general vicinity. And then there's that, you know, that real pesky ringing. We can go ahead and tuck that down right there. So already we're giving it a, you know, a good bit of weight. While also tucking back that ringing sound. And at any one of these, what's really cool is I could right click and I could make it dynamic, and then that gives me this control here, which then allows me to, based on, you know, based on what's coming through, based on how it reacts to what is actually coming through the channel, it's going to actually tuck it back dynamically. So it actually turns this into a bit of a compressor. It's, you know, the technical term that these guys, you know, talk about, or that the, you know, people that make videos about this talk about, is dynamic EQ, but it's the same concept. It basically turns it into an ability to turn the channel down dynamically based on the actual content, based on what's actually happening. So you see how it grabs it right there at the transient, tucks it back, and then does that. So you can let that be automatic in terms of how that reacts, or you can actually click on auto right there and control the threshold. So there's all sorts of options. See, if I keep it down there, then it actually grabs more of that ringing, because that ringing is actually happening there on the tail end of the snare sound, not necessarily the transient. You know, the ringing of the snare sound is happening right there on the tail end of it. So added a little weight, tucked back some of the ringing. That sounds great. So I guess what I wanted to point out is that, you know, other than a few pinwheels here and there, I'm really not experiencing any issues whatsoever with the Pro-Q3. I've been using it here and there since I was able to grab this a few weeks ago, and it's been really great. You know, it's been working really, really well. Every time I've used it, all the features I'm really into. I can see, you know, why people like to use this kind of a plugin. And it really isn't, I mean, I'm running my setup on a pretty tight schedule right now at 128 samples on the hardware buffer. And if we have a look at system usage, it's, you know, now given we're not using that many tracks, well, I say that, but you got, you know, 2, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 audio tracks going through a bus. A folder, all going into other buses, so going into the master fader. And there's not much happening on the master fader, just a little bit of SSL compression. I actually need to adjust this a little bit because there is quite a bit of compression happening. We turn it all the way down. You know, it's good to try to stay. So I'm going to go with I'm going to set this to a very slow attack and fast release. That'll help. just, you know, tucking it back a little bit, but letting those transients come through because it's on a very, very slow attack and a very fast release. So it lets go of it just as soon as it is grabbing it, and very, very small ratio. You know, if we go to the loudest part of the song, you know, that's right underneath there is right where we want that. So already sounding pretty good. I could do some shaping on the overall drum channel if I wanted to. Give it a little bit of low end, give it a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of top end on that snare. Come down here and I can see if there's any problem frequencies. There's a lot of air in that. Sounding great. That is really it. I just wanted to make a short and sweet video about how the Pro-Q3 is working really, really well as I've been using it the past few weeks. And it's been a real joy. I can see why people like to use this sort of EQ. It gives you a very nice visualization of all of the frequencies of, you know, problem frequencies. You can use it dynamically and turn it into compressors. So it is a really cool plugin and works really well on the Apple M1 Mac. Until next time.